This lack of clarity is what will eventually, or either it will stop you from starting, or it will make starting feel like wading through treacle, or it will get you so far until it's all a blur again, or you're feeling burnt out or unwell or unfulfilled because you've lost that direction or that clarity.
This is the Born to be Brilliant podcast, helping you harness the habits and unlock the tools to bring you more meaning, vibrance, and the personal power to help you shine like the diamond you are.
Hey, high achievers. Welcome to this episode, all for you awesome entrepreneurs who know what it's like when you are super passionate about building something amazing, or you've built something amazing that you're not super passionate about, but you know you have got that responsibility as a founder, as a leader, as an entrepreneur to do great things. And what is that number one thing that keeps you in some ways stuck? Whether it's stuck in terms of how to do a specific thing, like scale the business or make more money or leverage your time better, or even stuck with how to continue to operate the amazing business you've built with, feeling the way you're feeling about it. Because quite often, us high achievers, we burn ourselves out. We almost create a monster. I know that a lot of entrepreneurs feel that way. They go, oh my God, I created a monster. Not because they don't love the business they've created or the results or impact that it makes in the world, but because of how much weight it puts onto them, right? I can relate to this personally. And you just feel like, wow, this is heavy, and it shouldn't feel this heavy because it's meant to do good. What's the number one thing behind all of that you need to fix? So I think of this like, imagine a machine and there's cogs or there's switches or whatever. And it's like, which ones do you need? Which dials do you need to turn to fix that? And what is the outcome that you're going to get when you fix that? Because we all got another level to go to. So wherever you are, like from startup to multi-millions, wherever you're sitting, and we do rank things on revenue, don't we? Because that's what business is. But the challenge is they kind of come down to some of the same few things, just at different levels. So, in the startup phases, you need revenue, you need systems, you need sales, you need marketing, you need capacity in yourself to be able to do a lot of things, because at the beginning, especially if you're starting from the ground up, you do have to do a lot of the things yourself before you grow teams and so on. But as you grow and evolve, you could be doing really, really well, but there's another level, there's another layer of fulfillment, of impact, and of revenue that's available to you. When is it done? When is that done? And for some of you, you might be like, nah, it's done. I think if it's done, then there's nothing more to grow to. Then you're almost moving on to the next thing anyway. So then there's you're doing it over there, or it's something you sell, or it's something you retire from, or whatever else. But there's always another layer or another level. And with my clients come to me with various different stuck points. Otherwise, they wouldn't need any insight or support or guidance or help or hand-holding or accountability. But when people do, they don't always know what it is. So if you know that you have a marketing problem, you'll probably go to somebody who has a marketing solution. If you know that you have let's think of another one. Well, if you had a health concern, you'd go to somebody who can help you with that health concern, right? If you don't really know what it is, you're like, I know I need to generate more revenue, but I know I need to do it with, I'm struggling to see the gaps, or you don't know what you don't know. That's what I'm getting at. So we don't always know what we don't know. And sometimes we can't see the very thing or pinpoint the very thing that is causing us to feel in some way stuck or confused or unleveraged or just unfulfilled. So if you're walking around going, yeah, no, I'm doing everything and I know exactly what I need to do and I'm doing it all, but at the cost of feeling great. Like I feel worn out. I feel overworked. I don't feel like I have any time for my, my life, my family, my hobbies, my pleasures. That's also not okay, right? Because you created your business to give you the life and the existence on this planet that you desire. It's just a massive bonus if the work you do and the way you generate income is through something you also love. Like that's just a huge bonus. So when people come to me, they often don't know what the thing is, or they think they do. And there's often other layers to that too. But the thing that kind of, I guess, the one ring to rule them all often comes under the umbrella of clarity, because if we don't know where we're going, we just go around in circles. Age-old analogy of getting in the car without a plan or a map or a direction. And you just go, I just gonna drive around. Like, do you think you'd get very far? Do you think you'd reach a destination that you like if you do that? You can follow your nose and you might, but you will not get there very quickly. I know what kind of destinations I like. So if I just got in my car and drove, I could probably find my way there myself without any road maps, without any sat nav, without anything. But do you think that I'd get there at the same speed as if I knew exactly where I wanted to go, what it looks like, and I plug that into my nav and I go, what's the best route? And then I just get there. It's exactly the same in growing a business that you love and that supports a life you love. You need to know, like, first of all, where it is that the destination is. What even is that? So often, heart-led leaders don't even actually know the destination. They just know that the doing that they want to do, but they don't actually know what the destination is. What is the end point? What is the purpose or the goal of that thing? And it could be as simple as to make money. That's okay. Maybe it is. It's a vehicle to provide you with the revenue to create the life, right? That's okay too. But what's the destination of that vehicle? Like when is done? What does done look like? And this lack of clarity is what will eventually, or either it will stop you from starting, or it will make starting feel like wading through treacle, or it will get you so far until it's all a blur again, or you're feeling burnt out or unwell or unfulfilled because you've lost that direction or that clarity. And as I've said in previous episodes, this stuff changes and evolves with time, seasons in life. Us as we grow, it does change. But if we aren't in tune with that, we can get stuck spinning our wheels or, dragging along a business that feels like a ball and chain rather than flourishing and thriving and feeling fulfilled in what we do. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a high achiever, are you clear on exactly where you're going? And if you're clear on where the destination is, are you clear on the steps in order to get there? So you've got the postcode, you can put that into your sat nav, that's fine. Is it a clear route, or are there hurdles and twists and turns that you need to navigate along the way? And I can guarantee there will be, because there always are in business. So if we can get clarity, that's massive. It sounds simple, right? But it's massive. And anyone listening who's ever, or maybe you are really struggling with clarity right now, or you have in the past, so you know what this is like. Anyone who's ever experienced that lack of clarity will know just how painful that can be when you're in it. It can feel like it bogs you down because you're a high achiever, and high achievers want to go. And when we are clear, we get stuff done. We go, we make things happen. But when we're not clear, it can just paralyze us. And we get stuck in this like, I want to be moving, but I don't know what to do. And you're not stupid. You know that time is precious, so you don't want to waste it going down, this gravel track that may not lead you anywhere, because that's a complete waste of your resource. So you want to be on the right path. So unless you're on the right path, you're on no path and you freeze like a deer in the headlights. And what a waste of awesome, because you are awesome, and you're awesome because you're born to be brilliant and to do amazing things. So there's nothing more frustrating than feeling like that, feeling that you're paralyzed. Now, there are some neurodivergent attributes to this as well, which can make it even more of a challenge, but it's just as real for anybody who's completely neurotypical or wherever you are on the crazy sliding scale of all of that. But don't underestimate how much it can be exacerbated by neurodivergence and by hormones as well, and hormone shifts and hormone changes, which can also really affect that, and the brain fog and so on. So if you feel like laser focused and really clear one day, and then like, wait a second, where am I going? It's like some big fog just came in on your route. Know that you're not alone, and know that that happens. But this is where being a stubborn high achiever, I can be like this myself sometimes, and going, it's fine, no one else could possibly understand this, I will figure it out on my own. And you almost go into yourself, or you hide away because you were trying to think it out and figure out the clear the fog. You have no idea the power of connecting with other people who understand this, that can help guide you through. They may not know the way, but they may well, or if they're a great coach or mentor or guide, they will know how to ask you the right questions that will help you clear the fog. And that's what I do for my clients, and I absolutely love doing that. I help clients that are in business niches that I have no clue about, and I don't need to, but I do know how to unlock them, and I know how to ask them the right questions to get to the heart of what's really going on. And sometimes it's not what they thought it was when we got started. They'll come to me going, I need help with my systems in my business. I need my systems and processes, and I know you're really good at that, and we can leverage tech in the process, so I really want some help with that. And I'm like, yep, cool, brilliant, 100% we can do that. Or it could be with my marketing. I really need help to get my digital marketing working better so that I can generate more leads and convert more of them into sales, and we can, let's roll up our sleeves and go to town on that. But what happens is, when we start getting under the hood, is we find that there are other things going on. And it might be that, okay, well, but before we can even, we can turn a few dials here and we can turn a few dials here. But if we just turn this dial and we ignore the other dials, we're gonna create a new problem or a new stuck point or a new challenge. So we will hone in on the dials that need the most turning, but we can't ignore others if there's work to be done. And sometimes we'll find that, the strategy was absolutely fine. It wasn't broken. It was just that perhaps the thinking behind it, or the belief system behind it, needed, rerouting or challenging in some way. Or it may not be that the systems are the problem. It may be that it's actually the time management. And if the time management was solved, the systems, they're already there, but the time management isn't right, or the team, or the right person doing the right thing is letting the system down. And sometimes, as high achievers and business leaders, we actually end up messing up our own systems because we just try to get too involved in too many things, and we're the problem. We're in the way. But we don't see that, because you can't see the label from inside the bottle. And this is why we have to say, right, I need someone who can support me with this. Somebody who knows how to ask the right questions, because they've seen it, experienced it, and had enough experience working with other people to have seen it time and time again in all different ways and all different niches and, personality types, that they're able to ask the right questions and unlock those answers. And this is where this is where it's life, it's business, it's entrepreneurship, it's all of the parts, because I work with the human behind the business. So some people work very much with the business itself and any of the team in that business and so on. I'm a entrepreneur, high performance coach. I'll help the person, the human, because it's about the whole of you. And so the best way I can describe this, and my favorite word to describe this, and the name of my signature program, is calibrate. We need to calibrate the human behind the business. And that looks different for different people. So for some people, the business owner is in immaculate health. They take great care and priority over their health. So that's not letting them down. They're highly energized. They sleep well. They fuel themselves with good nutrition. They're taking care of all of those aspects. However, they lack, I don't know, I'm just making up an example here, but like maybe they lack a sense of joy and fulfillment and happiness. Okay, so the health bit's good, the fulfillment bit's not. Where's the business at? Okay, the business, maybe that's doing well. So there's something going on there in that whatever they're doing, it's not creating the existence that they want to feel and experience in this world and in this life. So what do we need to shift in order to, or tweak, or which of those dials do we need to turn to overcome that? Now that's a real, like, that's quite a deep one, and like that's to do with, ultimately that's well-being, right? And that's the mental well-being and the sense of fulfillment, and that's where the positive psychology can come in. In other times it could be relationships that are the downside. So it's like, yes, everything looks great on paper, but I just don't see any of my family or friends enough. I don't have deep, meaningful relationships. I don't love deeply enough. I don't get that rush of dopamine and of joy of being around other people or lifted by other people or connection. That's literally at the bottom of our needs as a human being. Is we need connection. It's vital for our survival. And I've seen this where high achievers, they're rushing here, there, and everywhere. And you got I don't know, your kids like, could you plait my hair? And you're like, I don't have time. I mean, that makes my heart cry if I ever hear a business owner report that as a thing. And I'm like, that shouldn't be the case. Your little girl wanted you to do that little thing and you didn't have time for that. Like, something's not right in the way you're set up. And the thing is we don't notice it sometimes until it's too late, until it's cost us a relationship, or until it's cost us a significant piece of our health or our happiness or our well-being or our revenue, our bottom line, because we're trying to do all these things. And then before we know it, we're like, actually, cash flow has taken a dive and I haven't done anything to rectify that. It's just as important. This is why we need to calibrate all of these areas. So with the 5 pillars that I teach and I work to, our health, our happiness, our time, our relationships, and our money, they all matter. They all count. So to go to your next level is going to mean, like, I very much doubt any of us have all of those on fire at all times. But to go to your next level, or to get started in the thing you want to do, you've got to take care of all of the pieces of that. And you need to calibrate. You need to feel as good as it looks, right? Business isn't easy. And anyone who thinks it is doesn't usually last very long. And it was a dabble and then they're off again, because they're actually better being an employee. No, that's what their very makeup is about. Everything about them is better suited to being an employee. Their mindset, their behavior, preferences, even in the end result. You want to knock off at a certain time and not think about it until you're there again. That's employee. You need a job. You don't need to be creating your own job for yourself or being a business owner. But you guys, as high achieving business owners, you already know that this is not the easy path. It's the harder path. But I believe the harder path comes with the greater reward. But in order to have that greater reward, you've got to take care of all of the components. Otherwise, that path's going to crumble and you're going to fall off the edge at some point. So if you're keen to explore this and you need to recalibrate, and you need to, maybe you don't have clarity, or maybe you have got clarity, but you also have some confusion going on around where your stuck point is, and you're like, I just can't seem to find this answer or fix this thing, and I can't see why, because I feel like I'm doing all the right things. Get away from the noise, stop scrolling social media, because the answer isn't there. All that's going to do is create more confusion. It's going to send you off in multiple directions. I always say the lost person is the vulnerable person that's far more likely to get sucked into something that, and don't get me wrong, there's some amazing things out there to get sucked into. But if you're lost, you're going to clutch at shiny objects that appear to be the solution to your problem. And before you know it, you are pulled in multiple directions and you don't really know where you're going. So before you go down any of those paths, get really clear on why. Something pops up in your social media, it appears to be the answer, and before you know it, you've signed up to some course to do something really random. You're like, wait, what? Why? Hang on. Is that part of the plan? You're like, I don't know. I haven't got a plan. That's the problem. So we need the plan. We need the roadmap. Then you will be laser focused and you will not be distracted by anything. Nothing is infiltrating that plan and that path because you are lasered in, locked in, and you go. And that's when you get outstanding results. That's when you rise up. That's when you go to that next level, when everything flourishes. Everything is better. You feel more free. You have more time. You feel more balanced. You're not running ragged. You're not overwhelmed. You're calm, and you're making more money, and you're spending more time with people and loving it, and everything recalibrates. We all need this. Nobody is too good for this or got this all sussed and nailed and it never becomes a problem again. Like, we all need this. So Calibrate is open for registration at the moment. You do have to pop an inquiry in because there are limited spaces. So if it's something you're like, this is what I need right now, I invite you to, I'll put the link in the show notes, but I invite you to have a little look. I've got a page, so I'll tell you all about how it works and what's involved. It's beautiful. It's absolutely awesome because it takes care of the whole of you as a business owner, gives you that opportunity to feel held while you calibrate. And it's heavily leaning on the human and the person behind the business because you matter and you're ultimately here for, a good time, and you want it to feel good as you walk life in this skin. So you want it to feel great, but your business has got to thrive as well. So it's that combination. And I think that's really unique. Oh, check it out. The link is in the show notes. I would love to hear from you if this has resonated with you anyway. And you guys have an absolutely brilliant week.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, go out there and shine your light bright because you were born to be brilliant.